Hey everyone, have you ever tried adding something to a photo in Photoshop only to realize it doesn't match the perspective of the image? Maybe you tried placing a logo on a wall, adding text to a building, and it just didn't look right. That's exactly what the vanishing point filter in Photoshop is designed to fix. The vanishing point filter is a powerful, often overlooked tool that allows users to edit and get that perfect perspective. In this video, we're going to go over how to use the vanishing point filter step by step. So let's get into it. Normally, when you paste something into an image, it doesn't automatically match the perspective of the photo. For example, if you were trying to place a logo on this wall, it would not match the angle and the perspective. The vanishing point filter will fix this by allowing you to define perspective planes inside the image. Once those planes are created, anything you paste or add inside of them will automatically match the correct perspective. So let's start by opening the vanishing point filter. Just go to Filter, down to Vanishing Point, and it will open up another window outside of Photoshop. And your default tool will be up here on the left. It's the Create a Plane tool. So the first thing we need to do is define the perspective of the surface we want to edit by creating a plane. To do this, we'll take the Create Plane tool and click on the corners of what we want to define. Once we do this, Photoshop will create a plane that matches the perspective of that area. Now that your grid is created, you can fine tune it by grabbing the corners and getting it perfectly aligned with your area. If you noticed, when you move this, sometimes the grid will turn red. Red is bad. You don't want red. It can sometimes also turn yellow. It's not recommended. Blue is what you want. Blue is what you want to go for. You just keep adjusting until the grid turns blue. Now that we've added a grid for the sign area, let's add a grid for the wall behind it. To do this, just click on the Create Plane tool again and make your selection just like before by clicking the 4 points. This time, since the image goes off into the distance, we can click anywhere on this plane here and just match the lines, and then you can adjust it from there. See, I got a red plane. Now that it's blue, it means it's good, and you can grab the sides and you can slide it along the lines and it will extend your grid following the same perspective. So you can slide it to the edge of where you want. And it's okay to have overlapping grids. If you need to select a grid, you can click on it. If you need to select the one behind it, you just hold the Command or Control key and click in the same spot, and it will select each one. One of the really cool features of the vanishing point filter is the ability to create planes that go across connected surfaces. In this case, we're going to add a plane to this column that has two separate sides. So I'm going to zoom in so we can see a little better. Just go to the Create tool again, and we're going to click on the 4 corners to create our plane. We got a blue grid, so that's good. Then click Command or Control on the side, little handle, and pull, and it will extend a second plane. You can see the angle's a little bit off, so you just go to the angle slider up here in the taskbar and slide it until the angle matches, and then you can pull it out to the full extent and it will match. And now you have basically created a plane across two separate sides. Once you have all the planes that you'd like to create, you can just click OK, and it will take you back to your document. Now, right now, there's nothing here. There's nothing proving that you did anything. If you go back up to Filter, Vanishing Point, all of your grids are here. They stay inside. Just hit OK or cancel to get out. Now, let's add a graphic to our surface. First, we need to create a blank layer and name it. We'll just name this sign. Then we'll go to, I have images open. We'll just open the sign image here. And all you're going to do is select it all and copy it. And then go back to your main image, up to Filter, Vanishing Point. In this case, I want to apply it to the sign, but because there are overlapping grids here, I need to make sure that it gets into this one. An easy way to do that is to extend this outside of the boundary of the back wall so that there's an area that's not overlapping, so I can easily access this grid. So now just paste your image. What I like to do as well is resize it before I put it into the grid. So in here is the same as Photoshop. Just click Command or Control T to transform. Once you have it small enough, you can just drag it into your grid. And you can resize it more if you need to. But you can see, like, this is why I had to extend it so that it didn't think I wanted it in here. Once you have it where you want, just hit OK. And there it is on the layer you created. So by doing that, Photoshop has automatically warped it to match the surface perspective. Now let's add graffiti to the back wall. Just go to the graffiti layer, select it all, copy it again, go back to your regular image, create a layer, we'll name it wall, and then go to Filter, Vanishing Point. Then we paste our image, and then we Command and Control T to resize it. And then drag it into the wall grid. And just move it around until you can get to your handles. And you resize it again. And there you go. Once you get it to fill your space, just hit OK. We'll drag it down below the sign. And then we have one more to add. We'll do the column. Let's create the layer. Name it column. Go back to Vanishing Point. We've already copied the image because it's the same graffiti image. Go back to Vanishing Point, click Paste, Command or Control T to resize. Size it down, and drag it into the column. Just click OK. And now all of our images are placed using the Vanishing Point filter, and Photoshop has done the perspective for us, making this much quicker and much easier. Once you're finished placing the objects and clicked OK, Photoshop has applied all the perspective adjustments directly to our layers. At this point, we need to refine things using normal tools like the opacity slider, layer mask, and blending modes, or anything else you need to help blend these things naturally into the environment. We'll start with the wall. The first thing we need to do is turn the layers off so we can get to the original image, and we need to make a selection of the sign so we can create a mask for the wall. So take the Object Select tool and then just click on the sign area. It should create a selection for you. Then you turn the wall back on, hold the Alt or Option key and click the mask, and that will invert the mask for you when it adds it. If your mask is backwards, you can always click Invert in the Layer Mask Properties palette. Now for the wall, we turn this off real quick. You can see this is very dark up here, and then there's light, and then there's shadow from the sign. We need all that to show through so it looks more realistic. So if we turn the wall back on, so the first thing we want to do is change this layer to multiply so that the dark areas are darker, and then we want to adjust the underlying layer to allow the light areas to show through while keeping the dark areas dark. And then we want to duplicate this and do the opposite. We want to change this one to screen to affect the light areas, double click again, reset this slider, and then move the dark areas out so that the shadows pop more. Then select both layers, click on the folder to add a group. We'll just name it wall. Then you can adjust the opacity a little to make it look a little more natural. Then you can turn the sign back on, and with the sign, you can see the sign layer has a white background, and the sign area is off-white. So all you have to do is hide the white area. To do that, you just click on the sign and change the blend mode to multiply, and that will remove all the white area. And then for the column, we'll do the same thing as we did for the wall. Change this one to multiply, double click, drag the slider out to show the white areas. Click OK, and then make a duplicate of it by dragging it down to the plus or hitting Command or Control J. Change this blend mode to screen, then double click on it again, and we want to reset the slider for the white and pull out the slider by holding the Alt or Option key to split these. This creates a smooth transition. If you just leave it like this, it's very harsh. So you want to split them so that it gradually makes the change. And you get it where you want it, just hit OK. Do the same thing again, select both layers, drag them to the folder, or hit Command or Control G to add a group. Just name it column. And again, you can change the opacity down to 85 or 90%, whatever you like. Then you click on the eyeball. If you hold the Alt or Option key and click on the eyeball next to the background layer, you can see the difference, and you can see how all the shadows have been brought through by using the blend modes and stuff. And that's basically how the Vanishing Point filter works. Once you get comfortable with this tool, it's really powerful, and it can make things that may have been difficult in the past, it can make them very, very quick and easy. I hope that helped, and I'll see you next time.